Off the Cuff, and I'm Steve from TorahFamily.org. This is going to be a short teaching. However, I believe it has the potential to truly be life-changing. Tests. I wasn't a fan of them in school. However, we're faced with tests every day. Proverbs 17:3. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but Yahweh tests the heart. Now, we're all faced with temptations, and we all have weaknesses, and we all have strengths. My temptations may seem insignificant to you. Your temptations may seem insignificant to me. But temptations to do something wrong are not the only tests we face. There are many different forms of tests to simply see how we'll act or react to different situations in life. We'll even face tests to see how we'll think or feel from a situation. For example, Proverbs 27:21. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold. But man is tested by the praise he receives. Wait a minute. We're tested by the praise we receive? That's right. It's a test of our pride, how we're going to act or treat others, the attitude we keep towards others. Another example, Isaiah 48:10. See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. Affliction. Affliction can be a test from Yahweh. Yes, affliction. So when everything isn't going your way, it may not be the enemy, but rather Yahweh testing your heart, testing your attitude. We're tested when people talk about us. We're tested when we fail at something in life. We're tested when we succeed at something in life. We're tested when we have little money. We're tested when we have a lot of money. You might be going through a test right now and not even know it. Tests come in many different forms. Asking someone to forgive you. Can you humble yourself for that? Forgiving someone. Can you let go of the vengeance that rightly belongs to Yahweh? Someone pulls out in front of you on the road. You pull out in front of someone else. Someone starts talking about an individual to you. The list can go on and on. Every day we face situations to test our hearts in the eyes of Yahweh. He at least allows situations to come our way for us to prove ourselves. And I believe that's how we need to look at these situations we face. They're opportunities for us to rise to the occasion and fight. Opportunities to show Yahweh we mean it when we say we love Him. We can't be of those who fall away because of testing. Luke 8:13. Those on the rock are the ones who receive the word with joy when they hear it, but they have no root. They believe for a while, but in the time of testing, they fall away. We have to endure. Yes, there are times when you may just want to give up. But those are the times we have to dig in and remember how we're to think in these times of life. James chapter 1, verse 2. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds. And notice it says, of many kinds. Because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to him. And then, verse 12, blessed is the man who perseveres under trial. because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. Not only should we endure, but 2 times we see how David asked to be tested. He asked for it. Psalm 26:2. Test me, O Yahweh, and try me. Examine my heart and my mind. Psalm 139, verse 23. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Wow, he asked for it. He asked for the tests. But why would he do this? We read the following verses near the end of David's life when he was handing the kingdom over to Solomon. It was just after all the collections were completed for the temple. Consider what he said. 1 Chronicles 29, verse 17. I know, my God, that you test the heart and are pleased with integrity. Yahweh is pleased with integrity. The Hebrew could even be rendered uprightness. David knew this and wanted to make sure he was being checked and kept in alignment with Yahweh when he wrote these verses in the Psalms. In fact, this prayer of his in the Psalms could be an element of why we see Nathan the prophet come to keep him in check. As noted before, David knew the law, so he did the needed sin sacrifices for his sin with Bathsheba and her husband. However, that didn't mean he was walking with integrity or uprightness. His heart was obviously not broken over the sin he committed. Thus, Nathan confronted him. The purpose of the sacrifices was to create the right heart. That's why he wrote what he did in Psalm 51. If we don't test ourselves and acknowledge the tests that come our way, what will become of us? Lamentations 3:40. Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to Yahweh. If we don't test ourselves and acknowledge the tests he brings our way, we may drift away from him all the while thinking all is good. That's why we read this in 2 Corinthians. Examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not realize that Christ Jesus is in you? Unless, of course, you fail the test. We're all going to fall into one of the 7 churches of Revelation when it's all said and done. The results of the tests we face every day will make that determination. Ultimately, life is a test. It's a test for us to prove to Yahweh we want to be with him for eternity. So, yes, that is our opportunity to prove our love to him. It's an opportunity. But that can only happen if we pass the test. How many decisions do we make that determines what decisions we face tomorrow? Those who ignore the tests and refinement he brings our way on a daily basis won't be able to ignore the refinement that's coming in the tribulation. That will be a time of purification that will be inescapable for many. Every day we live, we are presented with tests to move us forward in Yahweh. Some may be small pop quizzes. Some may be life-altering exams. The question is, will we pass? Will we be able to say, not my will, but yours be done? You see, we're called to be at war with our sin, not to be a slave to it. And sin is disobedience to him. Pass the test. Prove to Yahweh you want to be with him for eternity, and you aren't willing to let anything to keep that from happening. Pass the test. Every day, pass the test. It's not what you do or go through. It's who you become from it. Well, that's all I have. Think about it. Pray about it. But more than anything, be a doer of the word and not a hearer only. Until next time, Shalom.